Hello, welcome back to HMS Odyssey Presents. We're back in it with Meg Zeek. This is the final video. This is a wrap up, and we're going through a little bit. We're finishing out the chart, and we're just chatting a little bit about some of the services and some of the things she offers. Now, she offers more than just human design, and I want you to click one of the links below. I have all of her social media, her website platform if you're interested in some of the services, and there's also a discount code for you if you decide to do it. Don't forget to mention HMS Odyssey and you can get that discount at checkout. And don't forget, if you enjoy this video, hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe.
So that one that you're on right there is digestion. So not just like food digestion, also think knowledge, learning style, how you absorb information too.
Okay.
So for you, it's really important that, again, that's kind of flowy. It's being able to have freedom in what you choose to learn about, creating variety. Mm-hmm. And again, even like with your food. So maybe one day you eat like really heavy and the next day you have a totally light day. You're not somebody that needs to eat the same thing every day. That makes sense. Yeah. Now, on the health and wellness background, like I know I used to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. That's all I would eat all day long. And sure, like I could have done, a competition or a show or something if I wanted to. And I feel so much better because that's another arrow that we have in common. Mine goes that way as well.
Yeah. Now,
like some days I'm eating like a horse. Some days I'm fasting like all day. But I feel good. Like I have the right amount of energy. I feel good in my body. And so really at the end of the day, it's about how your body feels. So does that make sense how that goes with, learning and diet?
Yeah. So when it says digestion, cold food, so obviously it's talking about food, but also you said it also describes knowledge and stuff. How would I describe it? Cold food and knowledge.
Oh, so on this little printout, they're only giving you the side of digestion that it's talking about.
Actual food.
Yeah. And so The other piece of that too is that your body enjoys cold food. I mean, that's kind of point blank, right?
Water. I'm not attracted to cold food. Like I have my little spurts where I enjoy sweets, but like I like ice cream and stuff. Like it's not something that I really crave that often.
What
like once every 6 months.
For me, and since you said ice cream, I guess smoothies, like raw vegetables, or even a cooked meal that is refrigerated overnight, right? Like I don't know about you, but sometimes I decide not to heat up my food and I just eat it cold, and actually it's fine that way too.
I'm a cook though. Like
you're a cook.
Taking care of my food. Like if I'm gonna put the effort into eating the food, I'm gonna put the effort into enjoying the food, right?
Yeah.
So, that's interesting. I don't know if I completely agree. Maybe there's like a different way we can like go about this, which we don't have to go over now, but a different way that I can like interpret it that would
it would make more sense to experiment with.
Yeah. For sure.
And I also think, so some digestions, just those couple of words down there, they might come out with like, I'm trying to think of some of the phrases. Like there's evening eating. So just eating at night. There's light eating, which is like eating in the daylight. There's eating alone. There's eating with people. Like I'm supposed to eat with people. And actually, I really understand why. I tend to not overindulge as much.
Gotcha.
But so just kind of something to play with. I obviously eat alone very often, right? So, did we go over your bottom one? No, we didn't. Okay. Yeah. So this is your environment. So the types of environments that you thrive in.
Okay.
For you, with it going towards the right, again, mixing it up. Give yourself freedom to choose. maybe one day you want to be in your office recording a video, and maybe one day you're like, oh, I'm going to go to some hub over here. You know how they have the kind of spots where you can rent an office?
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget what they're called. Maybe one day, with probably some crazy equipment, I'm sure, you're out at the park. Yeah. Giving yourself freedom of where you want to be that day. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of helps to keep you inspired too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that even, like, if I would put that on an online sense, right? Because obviously you're a person who lives in the real world and your business is online. So if I was to put that into an online sense, I would say, visit different groups, like interact with different types of people, go out of your way to find somebody that you might not necessarily interact with in a normal scenario. Right? Cool. And now you're channeled, and I'm just going to go over these real quick. Kind of forgot you when the screen was still up.
Do you need me to pull it back up?
I don't. If you don't, it's totally up to you.
Okay.
So you have your 731, which goes from your G center to your throat.
Okay.
That's the channel that you have all the way defined. And
right here. Okay.
You're going to enjoy, yes. You're going to enjoy, the name of this one is called the Alpha Channel. There's that leadership coming in again. Now, this one is specific to becoming some sort of elected leader. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily politics, right?
Yeah.
There's like a group of people that are meant to choose you as their leader, in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. So, I mean, you're the leader of your Facebook group, right?
It's actually really funny. So, we just had our HOA has meetings halfway through the year. Why? I don't know. But it was at the beginning of last month. And, they only had 2 people on the HOA, and it's supposed to be 3. And one of the people was leaving. So it was just one person left. And one of my neighbors, who I'd never talked to before, came to my door and asked me if I'd be willing to be on the HOA. And I was like, I asked him a few questions, etc. And then I was like, I'll think about it.
Right.
And then the meeting was the next day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and just see what happens. So they're talking about several things. And one of our loud neighbors, which I'm sure maybe not, because you got space between your houses, but we have a neighbor who's fairly loud. And she came around and she was like, I'm going to be on the HOA. Put my name down. She was telling people to write her name down.
Oh my.
And somehow I got elected into the HOA.
That story actually makes a lot of sense too.
I'm on the HOA.
That's so funny. I always think of HOA as being, the 80-year-old man that, needs something to keep him entertained.
Yeah.
One of my clients who is around our age, he just became the president of his HOA. I'm like, what? Why?
I'm the youngest person on the HOA.
I'm sure. Oh, that's funny. That's so interesting.
Yep.
I'd love to hear all of your stories about that later.
Well, we just had one little meeting to kind of introduce ourselves and talk. And so, it's funny. So our neighborhood isn't big, but both of the other people that are on the HOA with me are 2 houses away in each direction.
Wow.
So yeah, the HOA is within a 5 home radius.
So your street's perfect. It's on log.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So I mean, again, you're meant to be a leader. There's going to be a group of people that, and maybe it's multiple, right? And so when you step into that leader role, wherever it's at, one of the things to keep aware of, and I think you do this already, I've kind of watched you even do it with me,
Yeah.
where you kind of warm up. You, like you said, you kind of step back, you see what the mood is, you observe, and warm up the energy so that you can relay what needs to be relayed in a way that people can hear it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's that channel. Then you've got your 2644, which is that nice long black line. Yep, there you go. That is the change channel. Now, it's not about transformation like the other stuff we've talked about. This is where sales and marketing comes in. You have a gift of persuading people. And so somebody with this channel is like bound to be very successful as an entrepreneur. The little catch is that, so let's say that we were on a sales call right now, and we were talking about your course. You would tell me about it, and me already being a spiritual person who's interested in always bettering myself, you would tell me about it and I'd say, I need it right now, like I needed it yesterday, right? So you have this ability, especially when you unlock it, when you feel comfortable with it, to have that kind of reaction with every person that you know, are having that kind of a conversation with.
Yeah.
Just the little catch is that they have to already be interested in it. So hopefully when you're on a sales call anyways, the person is interested in it.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it makes me think I sold cars for 6 to 7 years and I hated it. I despised it. And it put a bad taste of sales in my mouth. And because, man, the car industry, so, you know, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, because there is a sprinkling of truth in them, right? So, you know, car sales is probably one of the most notorious of all. I saw that I worked with a lot of people who were not honest a lot of the time. So there's a reason stereotypes exist, right? So, you know, it just wasn't a good, just me doing that. I ended up trying to get involved in different things within the dealership. And I ended up doing a lot of them. So like I really tried to minimize the time I actually did selling because I didn't like the way. And because of that stereotype being there, people would come in with this whole facade, you know, like, because, oh, the car salesman's going to try to steal all my money and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he's going to lie to me. So people come in with their walls up and they're just like trying to give you like minimal information and like be like, I'm trying to help you pick out the car that you want. Like, why are you trying to hold this back from me? So, I mean, it's crazy. And I can't tell you how many times like people would come in and they'd be like, oh, I want like a V8 Mustang. And then they'd leave with like an Explorer. like what? You came in on a sports car and you left in, you know, a 7-passenger. All your kids and grandkids are gonna fit in this thing. Like,
oh, that's funny. That's
so
really
it's so weird. It was such a weird experience, and I'm just not a fan. So like, it kind of ruined my perception of sales. But
right,
I'm trying to like redefine it within my own life. So it's very interesting that his channel is strong, because I have very strong aversion to it right now.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely something for you to dig in on. Now, I'll say that I can really relate to that. So I was a personal trainer for 12 years. And that's a lot of cringy sales also. And so, yeah, I did not like that. And I took, so I was like one of the like head trainers. So I would end up teaching the other trainers how to sell and stuff. I hated it. I enjoyed the psychology part of it, right? Sales
Yeah.
psychology. I actually, that was cool to me. And
Yeah.
it still feels cringy. So just heads up for you, as you figure out how to align more with this, and this is like not exactly what I do on a business reading. This is more so what I do with my clients who are in the realm of business, and that's part of the slingshot, right?
Yeah.
Is help them use everything in their chart to create their really natural, flowy, easygoing sales calls because I
Yeah.
remember how much it sucked, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And how much I hated it.
So
So,
I want to point this out for anybody who's watching. So pretty much for every single aspect of the chart, you have the personal meaning, and then you also kind of figured out how you can apply that in a business sense. So essentially, you have two completely separate readings that you can pull from depending on what that person wants from you.
correct.
That
Yeah.
is
So you're getting a
that,
mix.
that is so cool. Yeah, that's actually a really useful tool. And if someone is interested in either one,
Right.
yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and
Okay.
essentially, especially as an entrepreneur, essentially your business is you. Now, if you do sales for a corporation and you have to follow like a certain protocol,
Yeah.
you can still incorporate your human design to allow for higher numbers, like higher statistics, whatever it is that
Yeah.
your your part is in that process, I guess. That makes sense.
It could
So
also
I did
come to
work
some
with
inspiration, right? Because if someone's running their or like working for a corporate company and they have an idea for a business and then they have a super strong entrepreneurial channel, like it might inspire them to start reaching out to figure out how they can get into this.
right. So also, I guess I should say this is it's called the change channel. I've heard some people call it the entrepreneur's channel. So you
Oh,
have,
this the okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you had this channel and you weren't being some sort of self-starter, entrepreneur, small business owner, it would probably be kind of weird.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's because it's kind of that inner calling, you know?
Yeah, no, and that makes sense because I've never really felt comfortable in any job, right? And in
Right.
the military, obviously, it's not really a job; it's a commitment of life, like really, if you look at it.
Yeah.
And I was prepared to make that, but like coming out of that, like it kind of reaffirmed that I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. I
That
just
kind
don't.
of brings us into your next channel, your next defined channel, your 3457.
I'm
This is
sorry, I'm
your,
just jumping ahead.
yeah, well, no, actually, I'm like, that was kind of a perfect segue. It's from your spleen to your sacral.
Yeah.
And that's your power channel, which is, again, all about survival instincts
Okay.
um, and your intuition. So,
Okay.
if you were lost out in the wild, leading a group of people that had elected you as your leader, and you didn't even have supplies around or whatever, you would have this intuitive awareness of what needed to happen in order for you all to survive. So it may not be as helpful in business, although you do have that intuition. Really, like when you talk to a person, say you're looking for a coach, and I want you to remember this. Say you're looking for a coach or to be part of a program, something. You have an intuitive awareness that you can tap into that's going to tell you, is this meant for me or not? And we talked about like your sacral being your yes, no. With this path, basically, right? This channel, you also have your spleen really connected and helping you make those kinds of decisions. So
Yeah, I guess
tie
I
into that
really
when you're
need
making
to,
big choices.
yeah, I need to learn how to read that better, because I had the first coach I had, I I wish I would have known, because I probably wouldn't have bought her course. Let's put it that way. Let's just leave it at that.
And it's unfortunate that there's so many, which actually, this is such a great reason for people to see things in action, so they
Yeah.
actually get an idea of who a person is before that.
Yeah. And you know, it's a very expensive mistake that I made, and that's why that was like a big catalyst for starting this, is like, you know, all you have to do is give me a sample reading. And then the benefit for you is I'm going to be getting people from all these different categories, and then it's just free advertising.
Right.
And the people, you know, if I do an interview with somebody I'm not too keen on, I don't have to advertise it as hard.
Right.
Because someone will be attracted to them, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like I have different people in different areas, and I'm not necessarily drawn to them, but I see what they provide, and it does have value, right? So I see like how people can be attracted to them. Am I? No, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is to show different people in different areas, and someone will be aligned to what you're doing. So
right.
That's all that matters to me. So
remember that your spleen and your sacral give pretty quick yes nos.
Yeah.
When the energy's in front of you.
Yeah, I guess I just, you know, and we talked about this earlier. It's just the correct question, the right way to ask it, and then how to lean into feeling like whether this is right or not, right? So the question might be muddled, so the answer might be muddled.
Right. Yeah.
So
yes, no
like
questions.
Really, defining and like how those yes or question, you know, it's not like, do I feel like eating a cheeseburger right now? No, I'm already full. Like what? Yeah.
Oh, I do. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah. Sorry, rewind. We already ate a cheeseburger today. That's crazy. I didn't even think about it. What?
I think nope. There's so much information on your chart. The last thing that I'll just say is that you're a split definition, right? Yeah, you're a split definition, meaning that you're one of those people in a relationship where you're like, you complete me, because some of your hanging channels will be completed by another person.
Okay.
So I always tell people, like, especially when they're looking for relationship advice, you know, some of us, especially as spiritual beings, will say, like, you're whole all on your own. Well, you might still have some longing, which you clearly do. Like, being in a relationship, there's still a longing, right? And part of that is the human design. Now, I'm in a relationship, but I'm a single definition, which means I really don't need to be, according to human design, just to give you like a different perspective on it, and conditioning, right? So I've been conditioned, like we all have, to believe that that's how things go, right? So so I'm a very romantic person for absolutely zero reason, according to my chart. But yeah, so like there are some people that it's like, yeah, there is another person that completes you to a sense. So,
very cool.
Just interesting on a relationship standpoint.
Yeah, no, that is cool, because when I have the book on human design, it's right there, but there was several different versions of split definition, and it was kind of cryptic the way. No, it's kind of cryptic the way it's written.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That one, yeah.
Yeah, there's several different ways you can look at the split definition. It's like single split, double split, triple split, and quad split. And I'm like, my chart doesn't tell me that. I have no idea. And then I looked at the little sample pictures, and I was like, I can't figure it out. I have no idea. Okay, so like, okay. So it just says split definition.
Right, yeah. So, okay. So if we were to pull up somebody else's chart, it would literally say on there, it would literally say triple split. So it'll
Oh,
tell you.
but
Does that
that's
make sense? Does that what you were just kind of asking?
yeah, and well, that and like, so this is, I want to try to find this because this is an interesting. So it says the 5 definitions: single, single split, a wide split, a triple split, and a quadruple split. But mine doesn't say simple split. It just says split. So it could be a single, a wide, well, it wouldn't be a triple or a quadruple because it would probably say that.
No, it wouldn't.
But let's see.
So I'll answer that really quick.
Okay.
For you, you would be a simple split. Now, different technologies kind of will come up with their own terms, kind of like I just said, human and spirit, which is really personality and design, right? So I don't know if that book, does it also come with a tool of its own where if you put in a code that you get like a free chart from that creator?
I would have to look.
Okay. Well,
I have to look.
my guess is that if they have a tool of their own and you were to plug it in there, it would tell you, you know, simple split definition versus the one that we have here. For you, so if you see your heart and your spleen are connected, right? And your spleen and your sacral are connected, you have which kind of connects them all together in a almost,
so you're talking
right?
about this and this are connected and this are connected.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a loop, but it's not closed, right? And then you have your throat and your G center that are connected. So because you have two defined areas, okay, it doesn't mean that it's just 2 centers. Like altogether, we're talking about 5 centers here, right?
Okay.
You have 2 areas that are connected.
So this, they would consider this one and then this one. Yes,
there we go. Yep. Because of that, it's a split. Now, if you had, let's say that your spleen and your sacral were not connected, you would still be a simple split or just the split definition. But let's say that you have your heart connected to your spleen and your sacral connected to your solar plexus. Now you have 3 distinct areas. Is this making sense or is it hard to envision?
So this would be one, and let's just say this channel is here. So this would be one. And then if these 2 were connected, this would be one? Or no, because they're connected.
Yeah.
So if I had one channel here, and then I had one channel here and one channel here, that would be 3.
Yeah. So that's what it means by like triple split.
Okay.
I know that's kind of confusing.
Making a little more sense. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I'd have to probably see more examples.
Like, the channels are how the energy transmits to each other. And so you're a sacral authority, you're mostly going to listen to your sacral. And with having other connections, you could hear almost like more internal voices, making it slightly more confusing. And also like, hey, somebody come complete me so that I hear less, so I feel peace, right? Yeah. And that's what happens, right? So
very cool.
And use that in a business partnership too. You can see like where you connect and
very cool. Yeah, I could see how that. Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah. Lots of information.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's probably even more that we could still go over. Well, there is. That would be even more than what I normally do.
I mean, this gave a fantastic overview of what you do and how, I mean, it's so clear and so evident how you demonstrate the information for the person to understand and how they can connect. I mean, I did it every step of the way. Obviously, I I voiced my stories so people could, see that connection, which I'm sure you get to enjoy too.
Yes, I love that people get to share their
Yeah.
stories and that we get to dig in and just realize like where conditioning has taken place
Yeah.
and dig into that.
Yeah, no, it truly is incredible. I love the way you look at human design. You don't just look at the book. You don't just do this. You kind of interpret the information, use it, and then like make it influence and impact the person who's watching. I mean, beautiful job.
And I hope that it just gives tools for your own awareness, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Leadership is obviously a strong quality in me. And, at times of self doubt, you can always remind yourself, I have a human design that's based around X or Y or Z, and I have these powers. So you instantly change your physiology, you change the way your mindset is, and then boom, you're back.
Yes,
Right?
yes, it all flows together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Oh man, I love this. I really, really, really enjoyed this, Meg. This is incredible. I really, really do appreciate it. Before we close out, I'd like you to give any last tidbits that you feel like you must express.
I guess with this being a series, one thing that I would just let people know is that typically your readings won't last quite as long. We were having some fun. Um, so if you do want, a couple different chunks of days, some people will do that, extend it. Then I just do a by the hour after the reading is done. Or does that make sense? Kind of after
Yeah.
the base package, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
just to let
So
people know that, and
just flexible. Yeah.
yeah, we stay flexible. It's
Yeah.
however much you want to dig in, and
Cool.
we just go with it.
Cool.
Tell a story.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here, Meg. I really, really appreciate your time and what you did. I really got a new understanding and a new perspective to look at this, and I really appreciate it. So,
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
yeah. So, everybody down below, I will include links to all Meg's stuff, whether she gives whatever social media she gives me, whatever website, whatever. I will probably have a discount code so you can grab some of her services for a percentage off. So you can enjoy that. Other than that, I am all good. And Meg, you're all good?
I'm all good.
Perfect. Okay. So don't forget to empower your life's quest and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.